All right, thanks for being with us. I am Johnny Robertson. We are live here on What Does the Bible Say? And boy, I tell you folks, we are really pressing down to the finish line here. When you get down to the information that we're sharing with you, we are in Martinsville tonight live, and we're doing a show that we're wanting to go into the bigger market because the folk in Danville are still running this referendum to get the casino in. They got it on the ballot. They're going to vote on it, and you might think that it's a sure thing, but if you want to get in, have a look at what a reality check right now, how about you look up a referendum having to do with Rosie's Casino? And the difference was only like 50 votes. And you think, I know what individuals think. Let me just see if I can run down here to a couple. This is probably some of the disinformation that you've been listening to, and you think, oh man, this is a sure thing. Release that they put out says more than 100 businesses. I spent about an hour looking for a list. More than 100 businesses share their support of proposed casino. Caesars Entertainment has released a list of more than 100 businesses in Danville. I tell you what, if you can find that list, you are a better search engine than I am. I research for a living. This is what I do. And you might say, well, by the time this show is over, I can have that list for, do it. I have looked for all over the place. Even, they got some websites where it says right here, click here for the list, and the page is not found. 100 businesses, and so what if they have 100 businesses? You know what that basically means? The owner is the only one that really is going to be voting. It's not like just because you have 100 businesses means that you have, count all the employees and all that kind of, so man, that'd be 3,000 votes right there. That is not the way that works. And all of these individuals, I'm saying I never saw the list. You can just put out disinformation all day long, and that's what they're doing. And so we're having individuals listen. This is a commercial, not a commercial, but it is a interview that was on WSET a couple days ago, I believe.
War on gambling in their area.
ABC 13's Kristen Morand finds out why a local church is against the proposed casino.
A father and son duo who run the Danville Church of Christ are telling me that they're rallying against the casino. Their church isn't a traditional one. In addition to their regular services, they have a live broadcast on TV for folks in the Virginia and North Carolina area, and also have a YouTube channel. Recently, Johnny Robertson's son, Caleb, started a series called Studying Sin Seriously to compare the Bible to modern-day teachings and hot topics. His most recent hot topic, the proposed casino. Both feel like they're one of the few churches against the casino and feel like this goes against their beliefs.
But what we're operating on.
Let me just see for a second if I can prove that we don't just think that there's not anybody helping us. This is the Dan River Church. This would be Jonathan Falwell in Danville, Dan River Church, right there on the river. What used to be, or right around the Old Mount Cross, intersection of Old Mount Cross and Riverside. Now let's listen to Mark McManus talking to them about, I'd say a month and a half ago, maybe something like that. So I haven't heard anything different, so let's go ahead and play this.
Can I take a message for him?
Well, you might can answer the question. Well, I was just wondering what y'all's stance were on the proposal to have the gaming casinos coming into Danville.
We really don't have one.
You don't have a stance on that?
No, sir.
Would you say what the scriptures teach against it, or do they?
We're not going to have that conversation with you. It's that simple.
Not available right now?
Can I take a message for him?
Well, you might can answer the question. Well, I was just wondering what y'all's stance were on the proposal to have the gaming casinos coming into
We
Danville.
really don't have one.
You don't have a stance on that?
No, sir.
Would you say what the scriptures teach against it, or do they?
We're not going to have that conversation with you. It's that simple, because I know who you are and I know why you're here.
Well, I'm just asking a biblical question.
We're not having that conversation. If you would like to see Scott at some point, you can set a meeting to see him, but nobody else here is going to give you any answers.
Well, we have been trying to get up with Jonathan, and it may be Johnny. You know Johnny. I tell you. Well, Johnny's been trying to get up with Jonathan, and it's not about this.
It surprises me that Johnny has trouble meeting with people.
Well, it's not about concerning Jerry's situation. I just want, if you talk to Jonathan, just tell him it's not about that. We just want to clarify y'all's position on the gaming casino.
Okay, number one, I will say we're totally against it. We're not,
Okay.
We're not gonna be for it, we're completely against it.
Okay, man, that's great.
Further than that,
How difficult was that?
no, the point is, that's not to be quoted on Facebook or anywhere else. That is our stance, though. But if we want the public to know that, which we do, then we'll state it at some point. We don't need somebody else stating it for us.
Now, are you an elder here, or
I'm on staff here. I'm the Director of Operations.
what's your name?
Jay Wentz.
Jay Wentz? Okay.
Been here forever.
Mr. Wentz,
Jay Wentz doesn't want anybody to know. They have not come out as of yet. As a matter of fact, I don't have a clue who is behind any of the signs that have finally popped up in Danville. They don't have any representation. They don't want you to know who they are. They just want to know God's going to judge you. And basically what I have to say to them is they'll be in hell with y'all. That's how that's going to work, because they're scared. They're afraid or ashamed of the church they're in. They don't want to put the name up of who they are and those big red signs that are up. I'm glad the signs are up there, but I really don't think those signs are going to work. It's just like, you're guilty? Excuse me, if that's the Baptists, y'all are guilty too. I mean, half the Baptists are actually for it. That's one of the reasons why they don't want to put it up, is because they don't want to make their membership mad. They're all doing the lottery anyway. The lottery's already here. So it's like, y'all wouldn't find any, what is a sin that y'all stand up against? Just please tell me. I mean, just how bad, let's just say, look, what if Corona was trying to get us on our knees? If it was God's way of getting us on our knees? And I'm not saying I don't know what God's doing, but I'm just saying, what if it was? What would it take, man? We've been 8 months and it just keeps on pressing us down, and y'all won't stand up for nothing. And so what got me going on that? WSET came over and they said, it seems like y'all are running a battle by yourself. That's what the anchor person said. Now, let's go back just a little bit and see what made me move over to that clip.
Called Studying Sin Seriously, to compare the Bible to modern day teachings and hot topics. His most recent hot topic, the proposed casino. Both feel like they're one of the few churches against the casino and feel like this goes against their beliefs.
But what we're operating under is Jesus saying, treat your neighbors as you would like to be treated. The only way that I can win and other people can win at the casino is if the other players who are my neighbors, if they lose.
Now, I asked Caesars for an on-camera interview. They declined, but released a statement saying, quote, the city will be able to devote 38 their community will benefit from tourism. There was their YouTube page each month, and that their members and viewers are right there with them. Against the casino, coming to Danville. Live in Danville, Kristen Moran, ABC 13.
Now, I cut out their little quote. Why? That's all they do is talking points. I mean, have you not noticed that? Their talking points are just basically, that's all you hear from them, and I'm not going to give them another chance to do their talking points, but I'm going to give you another chance to basically see the slide that I had up. Here's their talking point. More than 100 Danville business share their support of a proposed casino. Who says? Bunch of liars. You were not going to be able to prove that. Where are these Baptists? Where are these business owners? I know O'Kelly's is not for it. They finally came out. They were in this same interview. I don't know where it really was a position, if they talked in the morning or they talked in the evening. We talked to Krista in the morning, and then I saw O'Kelly's that evening on the 7 o'clock news, I believe it was. We were on 6:30. He might have been on the 5:30, if they do a 5:30, I'm not sure. Anyway, where are these businesses? This is just talking points, and y'all have eaten it up. So what are we doing tonight? I'm Johnny Robertson, and we are live here, and Caleb and I are doing a lot of shows, have done a lot of shows, devoted our airtime that we already had to the casino, because it is a very important thing. And as I said, get online and look how a few votes it really took as far as the difference between nays and the yays for Rosie's. It was a very close race, and this one is not done just because you hear a lot of positive feedback as if everything is already set. You can tell a friend tomorrow. get in touch with them. I mean, this is so simple, really, when you get down to it. Let me get on our internet. When you are talking about telling someone what you saw, and we're going to give you some good information tonight. I promise you that. We've got a storyline that you are not going to believe. These folks are not trustworthy. Now, when we're talking about getting online, and if you see one of our programs that you like, all you have to do is tell your friend, look, get on Google, type in Johnny Robertson. I'll be the first Johnny Robertson that comes up. Doesn't matter where you are. I'm not even talking about YouTube. I'm talking about Google. Just type in my name. I'll be the Johnny Robertson that comes up. You click it. You click me, you're going to get to my YouTube. When you get to the YouTube site or whatever you are, if you see my picture down here, you see my cursor down there at the bottom, you click on my picture and it will send you right to my YouTube. This is Caleb doing What Does the Bible Say? He did his last broadcast today on the particular subject of the life of Christ with a geography of the Bible lands, and he ended today in Jerusalem as Jesus was entering in, about to be crucified. And so he'll start up the conquest of Palestine in 2 weeks, and that'll be the book of Joshua. If you want to start reading ahead, we're actually combining our efforts to get all of this information in front of you at the same time. So look at how easy this is. I'm going to go over here and see if Caleb posted so that I can share his link, and I'm sharing that, and I'm also going to share it with individuals over at I'll try. I'm not going to do that. I want to share it to Danville Conversation. Maybe Caleb will do that. So we do have very interesting information. I'm going to just give you a little bit of a sneak peek right quick. This is VPAC. Now, Virginia Political Action PAC.org. This is a group that keeps up with the activity when individuals are donating in political contests or what have you. This is Caesars for Danville. And you might say, okay, what is Caesars for Danville? Well, I couldn't really tell you exactly what it is, but I can tell you this. Whoever is involved with Caesars for Danville, who's the parent company, we're going to look at that a little bit too. They're giving out some cash now. This is $1,500 to the Boys and Girls Club of Danville area for an event sponsorship. What in the world are they giving money to the Boys and Girls Club of Danville area? Well, let me see if I can get her name right. Tammy Wright Warren. She is a honorary member of the 4 individuals that are on the committee associated with Caesars Virginia. What does that mean? I think they're liaison with Caesars, and you might be saying, we'll come back to this. You might be saying liaison to Caesars, and then we went off into that kind of moment there where we didn't know what in the world was next. Well, I can't help that. Look at this. This is the report that was submitted in September. On September the 1st is actually what the date is. Now, you might be looking at it and you say, well, that's not September the 1st. It says 8/19. Well, it was submitted on the 1st as well. It was revised, and look at this. Look at how Caesars. If you want to try to follow the money and you want to try to figure out who Caesars Virginia is, good luck. Listen to this. This is the Caesars Report Development Agreement, and this is the Jones Walker copy, and it was revised, and it was read, or it was presented on September the 1st. They signed on September the 3rd. Don't forget that. Now watch this. If you're talking about trying to figure out if you can trust these folks, look how Caesars hides themselves. This Caesars Report developed, this Caesars Resort Development Agreement, in parentheses, the agreement from now on, is dated as of, and you'll see one later that says the 3rd day of September 2020, among Caesars Virginia LLC, a Delaware limited liability company authorized to do business in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Caesars Virginia. Okay, now Caesars Virginia is in that picture that I had just a minute ago of the Virginia Political Action PAC, and they're putting out money, $1,500 to Boys and Girls Club, $3,200 on more than one occasion to Tommy Bennett. What in the world is the president of the NAACP? How is it that they're getting paid by Caesars Virginia? Well, who is Caesars Virginia? Well, let's do it again. Caesars Virginia LLC, limited liability is what that's going to stand for. A Delaware limited liability company authorized to do business in the Commonwealth of Virginia from now on in quotes, Caesars, Virginia, which is a subsidiary. Get this now, we're going to hear subsidiary a lot. Subsidiary of Caesars Resort Collection, LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, which is a subsidiary of Caesars Growth Partners, LLC. It's a Delaware limited liability company, which is a subsidiary of Caesars Holdings Incorporated, a Delaware corporation, which is a subsidiary of Caesars Entertainment, Inc., a Delaware corporation, further from now on known as CEC. And together with the other Caesars entities, collectively, Caesars in quotes, the City of Danville, a municipality corporation of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the Industrial Development Authority of Danville. Find who that is. Good luck. Industrial Development Authority of Danville. It'll later be known as IDA. IDA is the individuals that hold the property over there that's worth $5 million, where they're supposedly going to be. Now, did you see how hard it is to find out who these people are? Let's see. Okay, Chris, thank you for telling me that. Okay. Eight, 20, 20, 20. Okay. We're backing and forth, and this is someone from Danville. We're trying to find out. There's several things going on. People moving their properties around, moving properties out of their name into a trust. The $1 for a property that's being taxed at for $7,200. That's the tax they pay on it every year. And somebody moves that property on the 20th out of their name into a trust. And then 10 days later, the City of Danville signs this document. And as you can see, this is what this is about right here. This is how hard it is to follow the money. All of these LLCs and Delaware. What is the big deal? You know, I started out looking in Las Vegas. I was trying to find information about Caesars, Virginia through the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, you know, where these people have to publish all their dealings, and I couldn't find anything, and the reason why is because it's all in Delaware. What? Delaware must be a tax haven. Listen, folks, this is the casino business. These are, I mean, have you ever heard of people they would lose their house, their car, stuff like that, and gambling over at somebody's house? You got gambling going on in this particular place. Have y'all not been to the movies? Man, gambling is a very dangerous ordeal. You're drinking, and next thing you know, you're winning, and then the next thing you know, you see your pot dissolving, and you put your car keys up there. And whoever's there, they're fine with taking your car. That's how this goes. And so we're talking about trusting these folks, and they say there's 100 businesses that are on board. I would say this to Chris. Chris, if you could find that list of 100 businesses, I'd show my gratitude by giving you a gift certificate to some restaurant of your choosing, as long as they don't serve alcohol, and just you can eat it up, you and your family, just be our guests on that. And so I'm saying this is worth something. I have looked for hours on this. More than 100 Danville businesses share their support of the proposed casino. October 20, 2020, Caesars Entertainment has released a list of more than 100 businesses in Danville that support a potential new casino. One of these companies is Wilkins and Company Realtors. Well, who's surprised about that? They're hoping that people will come in and buy property, and as I said, there's property owners that are moving property from their name over into a trust, and you know, once you do that, it's very difficult to start following the money. And so the owners of this business, Hampton Wilkins, says that he looks forward to the additional tourism it brings in tourism we never had, says Wilkins. View full article. No, thank you. All right, so that's what we're saying here. Okay, that was one thing. 100 business supporting it. Well, guess what? Have you actually heard about the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians chief? One Feather? Oh, you think this is a joke? This dude is no joke. I guarantee you this dude is a very dangerous individual. Oh, man. I know you're probably sitting there at home saying, what in the world? That's a racial thing to do. You know, the Native Indians have long since been savages. I didn't say he was a savage. That's you actually thinking that any implication about saying somebody is a powerful and dangerous individual means they're a savage. You need to get back on the other side over here and let's talk. Man, that means he's He is potentially dangerous. Dangerous to whom? Caesars and Danville. Why is that? This particular article is talking about this particular band of Cherokee Indians. I did not write this. I'm saying you're seeing it right down there on your screen. It is News at 6, competing casinos, one-on-one with Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians chief. How about that? Well, where is it? Washington County, Virginia. Where's that? Oh, y'all, that's Bristol. So you mean to tell me that Bristol is having it out with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, and they believe a smaller casino would be better in Washington County? I guess they would, because they have one in Cherokee, and if they put in this big Hard Rock casino that they're planning for Bristol, Virginia, what's Bristol got to do with this? Bristol is just like Danville, right on the border, hoping to bring in a bunch of Tennessee people to gamble. Tennessee doesn't have gaming like casinos, except probably on Indian land. I'm not sure about that, but regular gaming, as they're proposing in the Commonwealth of Virginia, that's what's on the table here. So these individuals, hey, I definitely want to hear more. I want to hear more on this. Okay. Okay, Caleb, please send Chris a link. He's telling me that he's finding out some other stuff. Very helpful. I do. So here's we are. What are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that the Bristol crowd has competition, and the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians believe a smaller casino in Washington County would do much better. 4.5 million people visited Harrah's Cherokee Casino Resort in 2019. So they would like to see a smaller casino in Bristol because they don't want people from North Carolina, Cherokee, North Carolina. They don't want their crowd being pulled over into Bristol. If you live between Cherokee and Bristol, nobody wants to go over that mountain to get into Cherokee. They would much rather go back the other direction and go to Bristol. So it is a very competitive market there. And you know what? This band of Cherokee Indians, and this particular one in particular, Chief One Feather, he is a very powerful and a very dangerous person when it comes to the competition. And, you know, y'all were saying there is no competition. Man, I just hate to give this away this early in the show, but I just, and I'll come back to it. Here we are. Now, this, y'all, this is what we were looking at online a minute ago when I was showing you the LLC in Delaware, all these LLCs that are hiding, all of these different corporations are hiding in these LLCs, limited liability. See how that goes? I mean, we read a whole list of them there. I mean, how in the world would you ever figure out where the money goes, where the money stops, and who is who? Well, I don't know if you ever would figure it out, but I can tell you this. This is the signed copy. Let me just go ahead and show you. This is the third. This is the Casino Resort Development Agreement. This is the one that they signed on September the 3rd. Now, I mentioned just a minute ago that individuals moving some of their properties around on August the 20th. That's just 13 from the signing. How about that? Let's just see. I cannot resist what this guy's saying. Okay, so what I'm basically hearing is that individuals that are associated with city council, as in family members, moving property around 13 days before the signing of this document in September the 3rd, August the 20th is when the property was moved down. You can get on GIS, which is a site where you have the maps and the property and all of that, the names of the individuals, and where all you have to do is have your address or the name of somebody, and you just type it in GIS of Danville and learn how to work it. It's a little bit of a curve, and you can see who's moving property around. You can just go look at the players, and I tried to look at people like Alonzo Jones. I couldn't find Alonzo Jones on there. I don't know his initials, and you never know what people are actually putting up as far as what their corporation is or how they put their. I'm not saying anything about Alonzo Jones. I'm just saying there are plenty of people that put their property in their kid's name, and you never know it's them. So this is the signed date. This is the signed copy. This is where you actually have all of the boo-ha-ha and the carrying on about we signed and they're going to give us, after the referendum, they're going to give us an immediate $15 million. Okay, notice this. here's what you have in the document. In the Danville document, it says Cherokee ROFR is defined in Section 9A of this agreement. Well, this is a very small document compared to the one that I showed you on September the 1st. Now, the September the 1st is a document that has a whole lot of business that the city council took care of, maybe some old business. So there was stuff about a Toyota grant, and there was other different things about the airport. And you finally get down, way down in the weeds when they finally got around to getting on the casino, and this Cherokee ROFR is defined. Well, what is that? Well, the Cherokees, don't you know, Johnny, they're up in Bristol, okay? Let's see. Let's go back to the one that was September 9th, September 1st, where they were much clearer. It says CEC. Did you remember who CEC is? CEC. CEC right here, CEC in quotes, and together with the other Caesars entities collectively, Caesars in quotes. I don't blame you. I can't keep up with it either. It's either Caesars Resort Collection, it's either Caesars Resort Growth. All of these are subsidiaries. Or Caesars Virginia, which is a subsidiary of Caesars Resort Collection. Who we're going to be collecting? Somebody's going to be collecting. Caesars Virginia LLC, a Delaware limited company. All that, see all that's going on? Well, notice this. Cherokee ROFR is the acronym on the signed version, but here's September 1st where they went through it as city council. CEC, Caesars Entertainment Corporation, has disclosed to the city the right of first refusal held by the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians to participate with Caesars as an investor in the project. From now on, it will be known as Cherokee ROFR. And with such disclosure to the city, CEC has the full authority to enter into this agreement. Now, you might be saying, what does that mean? I have no idea what it means. I just simply am reading the documents and the news. I know what's going on in Bristol. A band of Cherokee Indians, Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, are on the warpath up there. And Chief One Feather is basically saying, you know what, a smaller casino will do. I have no idea what One Feather. And this is a very powerful man. I'm saying you get online and do some research. You know, do you realize what's going on in the United States? Just stop for a minute. Let's just take a pause here and talk about what's going on with the Indians. These individuals have first rights to everything. If they can prove that they are in fact the indigenous, what does that mean? How about Aboriginal? If you go into Australia, watch a movie about Australia, you'll see Aboriginal. Well, what does that basically mean? The ones that were there first, the indigenous, they were here first. If they are able to prove their rights that to some land in the Commonwealth, and he's already been over here, don't think he hasn't. If they can prove their rights to the Commonwealth originally, guess what? They have the ability to put in a casino wherever their land rights are. Well, who is wanting them to do that? Well, who do you think? Look, right now, the state and the federal government has to share taxation with the city of Danville. But if the Indian casino comes in and they let's just say they went on out here to Tuberville and they set up their casino out there, look, y'all are out. Pretty much as a federal government, and they can't really say that much. They have their own police force. The Indians have their own police force. They have their own judicial system. So I don't really know why the government is giving in unless the government lets them put in casinos in cities and they change the way the laws are written, and then the federal government gets taxes as a result of that, and or maybe the cities, I don't know. I know that there's a group in Richmond area that they're trying, basically the government seems to be wanting to give them their rights, and they don't want to. That particular chief, he says, I don't want any part of the casino. So it's pretty strange, but I tell you this, it's out there. Am I making this up? This is, I don't really know what this actual website was. I just remember the headlines, and it was on February 10th, 2020, and it was what really alerted me. Let's see, the name of this is Indian Country Today. That's where his picture came from. And so it alerted me that this was going on. And then I started reading the fine print in the agreements for Danville. Now, look, the information that Caesars is putting out there, who knows what to think? But I know they had to do this. They had to disclose that the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians to participate with Caesars as an investor in the project, right of first refusal, and with such disclosure to the city, CEC has full authority to enter into this agreement. And like I say, I do not know what that means. I just know that they had to put it in there and that they are fighting it out up in Bristol. And so evidently they have some rights that you didn't know about, the city doesn't know about. You think the city does know about that? I don't know, but I know this whole thing could turn around. So there you have that piece of information, and I think it's pretty substantial. Now, you know what, y'all? Does anybody really care when you get down to it? Do you care what the Bible says about this kind of thing? When you start thinking about what a casino works off of, let me just clue you in right quick. This is Proverbs 20, verse 10. Diverse weights and diverse measures, both are alike abominations unto the Lord. You know what that is? That's when the butcher puts his finger on the scale and you don't see it, and he sells you, when you're asking for a half a pound of hamburger meat, and he presses on there a little bit with his finger and you come out with less than a half a pound. It's basically, it's when you talk about a baker's dozen. These are all phrases that have to do with fairness. And when you're talking about weights and balances, these are things that are used by persons who are not honest, who are trying to work you over. What do you think that the casino works off of? These electronic gaming entities, they actually operate off of algorithms that are produced by a computer. You really think you can beat a computer? Seriously? And we're saying this is exactly what God is talking about. Diverse weights, this is Proverbs 20:23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. Now, when you're trying to basically snare someone, it's not really something that God likes. Caleb was quoting Matthew 7:12. When we're talking about being good to our neighbors, we're talking about the things that you would have other men do to you. That's what you do to them. You be fair with them. And you don't want anybody sticking their hand in your pocket while you're not looking and pulling your hard-earned money out. Well, what in the world is Caesars coming in here for? I mean, what are all these jobs based on? You've got people that are going to be working in hotels, resorts, supposedly, in the house cleaning department. What are they producing? I'm not talking about the ones who are serving individuals in the I don't really know what to call that industry. The service industry associated with the rooms and things of that nature. What is being produced by this company? Nothing. Well, what's happening? Money exchange. Well, why is money being exchanged? Because there's individuals that have all this information put in their head that there is a chance that they can get your money. I mean, as soon as you walk in the door and everybody sees you, what do you think they're thinking? That sucker is coming in here and there's a chance we're going to be able to take their money. Well, you need their money in order for Caesars to work. That's how this goes. So these people that are in the service industry, whether it be food worker service, they're all getting paid to keep this casino clean and keep that food coming and it's smelling good. They've got the lights and the glimmer and the everywhere. What is being produced in this place? Nothing. Entertainment, you say? Well, it is entertaining while you are drinking and you're yucking it up and you're eating shrimp cocktail and whatnot. It's probably entertaining to take other people's money because you're doing better tonight. Your lady luck is on your side. But what if you're on the other side of that table? And let's just say you just spent your rent, you just spent whatever, something that your children need. I mean, we're getting close to y'all's holiday where y'all think Jesus was born, and right up into that time frame, which is not going to happen this year. I don't even think this casino will even break ground until 2022 at this point. Putting in the casino and you start the one-armed bandit, maybe 2024 with the fact that Corona's come along, but still, that's on our horizon, and everybody's going crazy over that. Are they really going to do it? Listen, y'all, do you see the hurdles that we're talking about here? Now you got the Cherokee Indians in play. You've got Caesars basically telling you that 100 businesses in Danville. How could you even get in touch with 100 businesses right now? Where would you find the business owners? I go up and down the streets of Danville every single day. All these businesses are closed down. And I really, I can imagine that many of them are thinking that this is their golden goose, that this is Lady Luck has come to town. But did they sign their name to it? I don't really think so. I looked very hard, and if Chris ended up ever getting the opportunity to watch, or we'll post that to him, maybe the folk on Danville Conversation can help us find that, because it's pretty elusive. Here's something interesting. This is the Danville GIS map that I was telling you about. You know how to work this map? Listen, I tell you what, I don't know what you think about me. You may hate my guts, I don't know. But if you don't, and you want to be helpful, look at this. This is the actual site. It's called gis.danville. And that's all you have to do. You really don't have to put any of that. You just put GIS Danville, and it'll come up, and you just go ahead and click the one that says maps. And you'll go to this map. That's where I am right now when we are on our slide. I'm in the map program. I'm on Hazelwood Court, and this is plot 58365. And all I have to do is I go to the search portion, and I put in that particular number. That's what you would do, number 58365. Every one of them has a number. That's how they're listed in the register as far as the land is concerned at the courthouse. You don't have to go to the courthouse anymore. Or if you know someone's name, their name or their number, you type it in right there, and guess what? Let's see, who do we want to do? How about we do Lawrence Campbell? All right, here we go, Lawrence Campbell. Let's see here. Now, the apostle of the world, Lawrence Campbell, how's he doing these days? Does he need any help from anybody? Let's put it in here where we can see all 50 of the Campbell people in the entire town. Everybody in this town is not Lawrence Campbell. Some of these are different Campbells. There's Philip Campbell. There's Larry Campbell. They're all listed here. We can have, you think this is dishonest, having a look into their business? Listen, this is the world we live in. This is public information. Lawrence Campbell. He lives at Largemont Way. And let's see, you want to see where the map is? I don't want to go there just yet. I would rather see what his house is worth and the land, because he's had a big parade the other day, people giving him money, pastor appreciation. Did this dude need your money? Really? Look at this. $888,000 house. Hey, I say the dude's doing pretty good. He drives a Bentley, and you're paying for it. And what's he got to do with this? His son's on city council, and his trustee is Alonzo Jones, is the mayor. So, hey, it's what in the world? All in the family. So, you go on. This is not Largemont. I didn't click. This is Hazelwood Court, and you can get on and find out public information. It's okay for you to know who owns the site where the casino is going to be at Schofield. Good luck. It's IDA. It might as well be IDK. What does IDK stand for? I don't know. IDK, I don't know. IDA, I don't know who that is either. It is a group that sometimes you see them in the Schofield LLC that has a P.O. box in Roanoke, Virginia. That's as far as you're going to get. You're a better researcher than I am if you actually get through with that. That's the way this stuff goes. People are hiding the facts. But one of the good things about the nation we live in is there are a lot of public information for us to be able to see who is Caesars. You can chase down Caesars. I'm saying I was making it out like you just can't figure out who these folks are. You can figure it out. They're not that crafty. What they're really planning on is, here's another property. This one's on Holbrook Street. It's property number 25649. If you want to look that up and see who's moving property around. This property was transferred on August the 20th. It was transferred from one holding to another, and it was 13 days before the actual signing of the documentation that we just looked at. It was signed out of a person's name into a person's trust, and there's nothing on this property. This is a lot. It's ready to be, it says buildable, so these property movements are taking place as all of this business is going on. And so you're welcome to look at plot number 25649 on Holbrook Street. And all you have to do is, while you're on there, it'll click up and it'll give you opportunities to click on. And I think you can just say, let me just go back to the website and we'll look at how this works. Right now we're on the summary. Let's see if I'll go back down to the map and show you how it works. Here's the map, and when the map comes up, you see how that is? If you have the number that I just gave you a moment ago, you type in the number and this is what you get. And it says, if you want to see the details, that's where we were a while ago. This house is actually owned by Campbell Lawrence G. Sr., trustee of Lawrence G. Campbell Sr. Revocable Living Trust. What is a revocable living trust? Revocable living trust means that you can change it as long as you're alive. If it's an irrevocable living trust, you cannot. It cannot be changed. Right now, his can be changed. If he wanted to put that house in somebody else's name, he can do that. So here's how you go and see the details on the other properties that are in town that are basically moving around. You just basically hit view details, and now you've got the assessment, what the assessment is as far as this is what the city says that this property is worth. That's not what the property is worth. You know your property isn't really taxed to what it is really worth, but that's what you're taxed on. So $886,700. And so this is what we're basically showing you right now. Folks, this is important information, don't you think? I think it is. I think it's really important for us to be able to know what's going on and see the movement that's taking place in Danville. I think it's important I hope that you think it's important for us to be able to see that the Cherokee folk are in play. Question is it the case that the casino people, I know they know. The question is, does the Danville City Council know? Was that a disclosure that was made on the day of the signing? I don't know the answer to those kinds of things. I don't know if that was a surprise on September the 3rd that the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians have the first right of refusal to participate with Caesars as an investor in the project. What do you think? I wonder if you can trust any of these folks. I hope that you're thinking the same thing, because what in the world are you doing if you're trusting a group of casino individuals that basically want to gamble with you? Now, here's what WSLS put out. Talking points. I am so tired of hearing these talking points. Nobody gets to talk to Caesars. It's like when anybody calls over there and asks them a question, they just put out a talking point. And then the people who ask them the question, what do? They read the talking point. They say Caesars Entertainment is going to create 1,300 jobs with benefits and average wages between $35,000 and $47,000. Ain't going to happen. That is not how the average works, but that's what they're putting out. I talk to people. I'm sitting down sometimes in front of a restaurant and we're talking, and individuals will tell me these talking points. And I said, where'd you get those talking points? Have you investigated that? They go to their car and they come back, and what do they have? They have a Caesars Entertainment advertisement. I don't know where these things came from. They're 3 or 4 folds. They're glitzy. They're nice. They're slick. They're colorful. And the dude starts reading it off. And I said, you believe that? And first thing you know, he's in an argument with me. Like, I'm implying that he's voting. You went out and read their material to everybody that's out here in the public arena where we're sitting. So see, that's what's going on. Can you trust them? All I hear is talking points. Well, do you remember, or did you see? Did you see that the Danville Regional Foundation put out, and several other individuals did too, they put out a documentation showing the difficulties associated with the casino. I mean, they have to put out this public information. What is it? Well, on the Danville Regional Foundation's website, one of the groups that did an intensive study, I think this is fourth, I always want to say dimension. I cannot remember the name of it. Fourth destination, I can't think of what it was. But anyway, they're a consulting organization they said that they were not biased in any way, unbiased. They are just stating the facts, and one of the facts is if the state of North Carolina authorizes casino gambling, and if the destination resort casinos are built in both Greensboro and Raleigh-Durham, gaming revenue potential could decline due to additional competition in key feeder markets. How much of a decline? 45-50% for a destination scale casino and 37 to 42% for the moderate scale casino. What does that mean? The moderate scale is what the Indians want to put in Bristol. They want it to be moderate because they already got the resort kind, the destination scale where you pull in here or you fly in here and you're going to stay 2 or 3 days. If it's one of those kinds of casinos, you're going to take a 50% possible hit if North Carolina puts in a gaming casino. What do you think North Carolina's going to do? You think North Carolina's going to sit around and let Virginia suck all the people from North Carolina their money and all these taxes go into Virginia, the Commonwealth? Are you crazy? Are they just going to sit by? If they do, they'll be one of the few states that is sitting by. Haven't you seen? Casinos are on the rise. Not everywhere. We'll get to that. Notice this. Can you trust these folk? Las Vegas Review Journal. These are things that we've shown you in the past. July 31st, 2020. What happened? Caesars execs to get pay raises as 1,000 furloughed or laid off. They laid off 90% of their workforce. And what was going on at the same time? Caesars exec get pay raises as 1,000 furloughed or laid off. Look at this. CEO Tom Riggs. You don't know Tom Riggs? Well, he was in Danville. Tom Riggs came in and sit down with these honorary individuals and our mayor and just all kinds of different dignitaries and Danny Marshall, all these folk that are supposed to be looking out for us. This guy comes in and he's the rep, he's the CEO for Caesars. Let's see, which Caesars is it? Caesars Entertainment Corp. Now, I don't know for sure if that's the one that has gone belly up and they came back out as an Inc. I think that it's really hard to keep up, but nevertheless, it's not hard to keep up with what happened with him. His approved base salary jumped to $2 million after the company closed a $17.3 billion acquisition of Caesars Entertainment Corp. So earlier this month, his base salary as the CEO of the now defunct Eldorado's Resort Incorporated in 2019 was 25% lower at $1.6 million, according to SEC filings. Another one of those public information entities that makes them do this. What kind of guy is Tom Riggs? Can you trust these guys? Lays off 90% of the workforce, and then he gives himself a $400,000 raise during the corona pandemic. Boy, he's a trustworthy man, and he is looking out for you. Seriously, can you believe that Danny Marshall and Alonzo Jones and the guys on the city council are going to bring a guy like that will kick you while you're down? He's laying off individuals to the tune of 90% in Caesars Entertainment Corp. that were part of the defunct Eldorado resorts. I mean, what went on with all this? This is a money-working machine is what it is. You see how these folks do? They basically kill one, it goes belly up, or they just suck everything out of it, and who knows where the money and where all the stuff went, the furniture, everything, all this that had to do with Eldorado, where'd it go? Well, if you remember some of the information that we were fed through the media, I constantly was hearing Eldorado this, Eldorado that, Tony Rodeo, Eldorado this, Eldorado that, and then Tom Riggs comes on the scene, and Carl Icahn sends shivers up your spine. If you're under 50, I would say you probably 40, you don't remember Carl Icahn. He goes all the way back to the 90s, the 80s, came in and pretty much routed Dan River Mills, bought up a lot of their stock, 25, 28%, scared them to death. They went and borrowed $150 million, and guess what? When you're borrowing $150 million, you better have some money and you better have some equity in your own business, or you are going to actually have your load that you're trying to pay off, it's going to outweigh your income. And that's exactly what happened, and Dan River Mills ended up having to sell out, and you know the story, 2007, they're bankrupt, or they're out of here. So Carl Icahn was involved in that. Carl Icahn was the person who put Tom Riggs in the CEO position. How did he do that? He did the same thing to Caesars that he did to Dan River Mills. He went in and bought 29% of the stock. That gave him 3 seats on the board, and he began to rearrange Caesars. And then what? Here we are today. Voila, and he's gone. He sold his stuff just like he did. He didn't sell all of his shares, but he sold his shares in Dan River, $8 million worth, and went back to New York. Had a good old time. On what? On Danville. See, if you're not watching what's going on, you cannot trust these individuals. And it's kind of like we need to say no to Alonzo Jones. No to Lawrence Campbell Jr. No to Mr. Saunders, Mr. Shank, and the other city council members. We need to say no to these guys. No what? Vote no to the casino in November. You still have a chance, and don't let them tell you that this thing is a done deal. Look up Rosie's and see how close the vote was. We're talking about 4,000 people. I could be wrong. I mean, like, I don't have to do all the research for us, do I? I could be wrong. This referendum might have been the Rosie's up in not Roanoke, but it's one of the other smaller towns that's in Roanoke. You never know when you're passing through one of them in the other. It's kind of like being down in Eden. You're in Leakesville and Spray and Eden. You don't know which one of them you're going into, especially if you're not a person who's been here for 100 years. So that's what we're saying. This is not a done deal. Your vote counts. And so tonight you need to realize that it is very important for you to pay attention because this is on you. Look at this. Can you trust the casinos? I brought this to you in April, and I know some individuals told me they didn't see this, so we're going to run it again. This is basically the New York Times in April of this year. The heading is, the lead out is, Caesars in UK is fined for allowing problem gamblers to keep on betting. British authorities said the casino company failed to prevent money laundering and allowed people who had asked not to be served to lose tens of thousands of pounds. Let's see. How does this go? Well, Caesars Entertainment, UK, accused of money laundering and other violations, has been fined a record $16 million. No, I believe that was 16 million pounds. Now, I want you to think about this. Caesars is supposed to give Danville $15 million upon signing. And I'm saying upon the referendum passing on November the 3rd. So, it's supposedly a binding contract. And did they know that they were bound to first right of refusal to the eastern band of the Cherokee Indians? I guarantee you Chief One Feather knows about it. Now, here is proof that these folk, they leverage themselves to make sure they win. They're able to afford $16,000 or 16,000 pounds. Pounds are not going to be as much as dollars if it ends up being pounds. Look at this. Britain's gambling authorities, this New York Times, have ordered Caesars Entertainment to pay a record fine of $16 million, this is dollars this time, for failing to prevent money laundering and allowing people with gambling problems to lose huge amounts over repeated visits to its casinos. I just have to go over that just a minute. You mean to tell me that that Caesars is in charge of the addicts' problems? That's what it sounds like. Well, who else is going to be involved? Well, social services is going to be involved in Danville. That's all you got. And Pennsylvania County. That's basically who it's going to fall on. And it's, you know, when you got a person who's addicted to gambling, it's not just them that social service has to take care of. It's the persons who live with them. It's the people that they work for. It's the people in the community, their neighbors. Everybody's affected. You know, I was over on Arnett the other day trying to talk this gentleman in to let me put a sign in his yard. Young guy comes running over. The dude that I'm talking to is an older gentleman, older than me, and this guy in his 30s comes running over. He wants to see what I'm doing. He doesn't have a job, so he and this guy talk and spend time together. The older man's trying to mentor him, but nevertheless, he is on. He's been on heroin and he's been on. What's the epidemic around here? Opioids. And so we're talking, and I'm just saying, everybody in that little niche there is right at the Piney Forest and Arnett. Everybody in there knows this young guy. And when you have somebody that's addicted like that, people around them, they know their problems. People they work for, they know their problems if they got a job. Their family is having to take care of them, and social service is involved with that young guy. He's taking some kind of medicine right now that if he were to take an opioid, he said it makes his snot turn into rocks in his nose, and the pressure is just unbearable. And so that's the kind of thing we're talking about. Not opioids for these individuals, but you never know. People who are on opioids, they enjoy gambling too. People who have problems with alcohol, they enjoy gambling. And it just it exacerbates the problem. It makes it expand, and everybody has to deal with it, including social service, which is basically that's money going back into the casino. And they're good at this. They're supposed to be taking care of these individuals. Look at this. They're being fined for $16 million. What's money laundering? Well, in times like this, when you have a pandemic, it could be that you probably are scared to handle money because it's dirty. That ain't what we're talking about. We're talking about illegal funds that are obtained by a bunch of crooks, and they need some way to clean it up because, as we said a moment ago, public information, the government knows every time you put in over $9,999, a flag goes up. If you put in $10,000, a flag goes up into your bank account or in your business, whatever it is. And these folks that are dishonest out here, that are selling drugs, that are in cartels, that are terrorists, all kinds of people, got all kinds of big money, and they need to clean it up. In other words, get it out of their name and get it into a legitimate way to go into their bank account. Well, how do you do that? You go to a casino and you talk the casino owners into taking in a lot of your money, and you go ahead and pay them off 10%, something like that, and then they let you win the rest of your money back. And guess what? Now it's clean. What, a laundromat right there in Danville? What do you think is going on in a casino? You think this is members first rate A+ Better Business Bureau? These folks are hoods. Have you not heard that the casinos are not a very good place to do business? Now, number two, they have their own police force. They don't call it their police force, but when you look at the lineup that they put out in some of the talking points, they're not really putting that out there all that much anymore, but they've got their own security force. Why? Did you not hear that people win at a casino? Let's say you win $5,000. If that's the cap at the casino that they're going to build in Danville, let's say you win, man. Everything is going your way, and you walk out there with $5,000, and you don't live in Danville. Let's say you live out in the county, and you really are not used to behavior in Danville. Can I tell you, Danville is a very dangerous place. And if you've got $5,000 on you, and you've been in a casino long enough to win it, you know what? You're probably a little less than your normal careful self, and you're probably being loud, and you're probably very, very happy. And I don't know what the parking garage is going to look like, but Caleb told me that he went over to South Carolina, I think it was a year and a half ago, and they were in a parking garage, and they came out to their car, and somebody was urinating on the tire. You never know what's going to happen in a parking garage, and if you're drinking, and you've got $4,000 or $5,000 on you, and you're being loud, and you're being happy, and everybody's congratulating you, guess what? You are a target. You got a target painted right on your back. Who's going to take care of you? Danville Police Force? Are you kidding? Let me ask you to do this little exercise, please. Let's see, what time is it? 9:56. Let me go down here and look at some of this stuff. Gambling Commission said the British unit. What I'm also going to tell you is go over, just do your research and find out where the police department's supposed to be now. If they get their $15 million on November the 3rd from the casino, they're talking about building their police department over in the Schofield area. And if you look at, I can't even barely find that place where they're talking about building it. And that's going to be your protection. And not to mention that, they got to protect the rest of Danville. They're way over there, away from all of the problem part of the city. Ridiculous. Look at this. These are the people that the Gambling Commission said the British unit of the U.S. Hotels and Casino Company would have to pay £13 million for racking up a catalog of failures over 3 years. 3 senior managers also had to surrender their license to work in the casino. Did you remember this in Louisiana? Let me just jump to it. The Governor Edwin Edwards, was taking payoffs from riverboat casinos, including a $400,000 payoff in cash at a restaurant parking lot from a man seeking a riverboat license for more than $1 million and more than $1 million from the owner of the Treasure Chest Casino in Keener, Louisiana. This is the kind of stuff that goes on. Somebody paid the governor $400,000 to get him a license. Yep, that's your casino. That's what you're asking for. What you gonna get? I guarantee you're gonna get a lot more than you asked for. We're going to have increased crime. There's not a single the data and the statistics that have been gathered over the years having to do with the casinos. Now, I jumped out of something right quick. Let me just see if I can do this in the last minute. It's great business, great business. Yeah, it's great business. Look at this. Let's just see. I have this up on a website. Let me see if I can hit the Sands right quick. You might say, man, that would be great. Let's hit the Sands. The Sands Casino, you better hit it right now, because guess what? Las Vegas Sands Corporation said to be considered an American exit. Guess what? They're going to keep their 66% Hong Kong and 22% Singapore, and the leftover 15 or 17%, it's bugging them. They're leaving the United States. Their 15% accounting or market in Las Vegas is nothing but trouble, is what they say, and they're leaving the United States. Let me tell you something. That's exactly what's going to happen here, is your money is going to leave your pocket if we continue to trust these guys. What you need to do is you need to trust somebody who is looking out for you, and that is, what does the Bible say? We're looking out for you. Even WSET says we're one of the only ones that have launched just a all-out campaign against this stuff. The rest of them, you don't even know which one are involved in it. We appreciate you watching us tonight. I always ask for it. What's the Bible say? God bless you. Good night.